Yo, what up peeps? Eric here. The Olympics have come and gone. Closing ceremonies, I don't know. They weren't as cool as the opening ceremonies. You had this weird thing where they were trying to put, like, I guess they were trying to build the rings, you know, that make up the Olympic logo, and they were like the rings were coming from over here, and all these people were running around that looked a whole lot like that. There was a Woody Allen movie that came out, something about sex or whatever, and it basically showed a bunch of guys dressed up in these white uniforms, and they were like sperm, and they were rushing out because they were going to go make a baby. And it kind of reminded me of these guys because they were all like in these leotard things. They were gray instead of white, but they were like these leotard full body outfits, and they're pushing the rings up, and they're trying to, and it took frickin' forever. It was like, kind of reminded me of that time I went and saw Van Halen at the Anaheim Stadium one year, and this guy comes on stage, he's all, "Look up in the sky, it's Van Halen!" And we all look up, and there's this plane up there flying around, and all of a sudden you see these bodies falling out of the plane, and it's like, okay, what's going on? Apparently it's supposed to be Van Halen jumping out of the plane, and everybody's, yeah, alright, woo, yeah, alright. And then after about 5 minutes, it's like, yeah, okay. There was no cell phones back then, so you were basically just like, talking, smoking weed, whatever you were doing. It's like, you know, hanging out. And then every once in a while you'd look up, oh yeah, there they are, oh, okay. There were 5 minutes, you know, it took a long freaking time is what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, anyways, that was kind of like, yeah, okay. The only cool thing about it though was, at the end, when they finally had all the rings up, suspended above, like in the stadium, and I was like, is that like just graphics we're seeing on TV? Because I'm looking around for the cranes, because it had to be something kind of harness or crane or apparatus that's holding these things up. That was kind of cool. So they finally got to the cool part. Much like when Van Halen finally ended up running on stage and they're all wearing their parachute, jumpsuit things and whatever type of thing. But yeah, it was kind of it was a long thing. Much like my rambling right now. And then there was the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible stuff where he's ziplining, and he's riding a motorcycle, and he's grabbing the flag for the Olympic flag, and he's jamming to a jet, and he's parachuting out, and then he gives it to somebody else. I don't know who that person was, and they ride their bike or whatever down to the beach, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing a song or whatever, and then somebody else does a song, I think Snoop Dogg, I don't know. But anyways, it was like, where are you going with this? And now that would have been better if Snoop Dogg was the guy riding the motorcycle, jumping out of the airplane, ziplining. That would have been good. But yeah, pretty much full-on LA, Hollywood stunt. And I was kind of like, I wasn't really buying it. My girlfriend's all, oh yeah, what about the time the James Bond thing? And I'm saying, well, that was a little different. I believe that was with 2012 London Olympics. Yeah, but anyways, a little bit different thing, I believe. But yeah, so it was all like kind of like, yeah, you know. And my girlfriend's going to say, when are they gonna pass the torch, you know, to one from one nation to another nation? It's like took forever. But finally happened. What was that? One thing that got me is when they had the French swimmer, national hero guy, and he's walking up to the Olympic flame cauldron, or what do you want to call it, and he's walking there, and there's like this little thing on a pedestal there, and it's like he picks it up, and there's like a little tiny flame in it, and then he turns around, and he starts walking. And he's walking, and it's like, and they show an overview, and there's nothing out there but a bunch of steps and a building, but there's no people or anything. I'm like, where are you going with this guy? And he's walking real slow. So it's like, I'm sure it was for effect, whatever, but it was just kind of like, okay, how long can we watch this guy carrying this container of a flame? Oh, and then they douse the flame on the Olympic cauldron, whatever you want to call it, which pretty much was basically somebody turning off the sprinklers. You know, the water goes down, the lights go off. Because, I mean, it's not a flame, it's actually illuminated water mist. So yeah, it's basically somebody turning off the sprinklers. Okay, there we go. So that was kind of a whatever moment. But yeah, so it was apparently the most watched Olympics since the Beijing 2008 Olympics. So all those people that were saying, oh, I'm not going to watch the Olympics, blah, 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 because I didn't like the opening ceremonies, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, well, hey, not watching apparently was in the minority. So, hold on. I can't remember how many people they said it was. I can't remember how many. I probably should have looked that up. How many billions of people watched over the Beijing thing? But yeah, so it was the Olympics once again were great. Closing ceremonies, not so much. We've got the Paralympics coming up, I guess in a week or two. Not really gonna watch that. I mean, I'm sure there are some really good backstories. You know, make you cry and everything, but I don't know. I'm kind of like saturated with the real Olympics, much less go no. Oh my God, I gotta devote another freaking 2 weeks to more Olympics type of thing. It's like it's time to move on. Football's here, so I mean, right? It's football's here. Bad timing, guys. Bad timing. Couple of aftermath stories, I guess you might call them, from the Olympics. One is there was this Australian break dancer that goes by the name of Reagan that apparently did a bit. I did not see it myself. I did watch some of the break dancing only because it was like the last thing I think that they showed at the Olympics for the Olympics. I mean, I thought breakdancing as an Olympic sport was a really kind of a joke. I mean, I saw the commercials, but I was like, that's got to be a joke. Somebody's just like, but no, breakdancing was a freaking event. So okay, they showed it. Gotta say, I was impressed. I mean, at first I thought, I know. Going back to breakdancing, like way back when, I actually tried it a couple times myself, you know. But that was back in the day when you just kind of like, you did the spin around and then you got on your back and spun around for like a couple turns or whatever. Wasn't like nowadays. This ain't your grandpa's breakdancing. This is like they're doing moves like, how do they do that? Is that physically possible? Because they're like on their hand and they're like stretching their legs out and they're like doing this like almost like a moonwalking thing, and it's like on their hands, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I was impressed. It was pretty cool. But this one person apparently did a really shitty routine and people were just like laughing at her because it was like, how did this person even make it to the Olympics? So now there's a whole scandal thing because apparently, supposedly, she was involved with somebody who worked for the, I don't know what it's called, I'm just going to call it the Australian Breakdancing Federation, and that's the only reason she made the Olympics. Then there are people saying, well, she made it fair and square, but there's like flaws in the system because some people couldn't get their passports, and some people blah, 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 on and on and on. But yeah, so apparently she got like, I did not see her routine. I watched a couple of clips, but apparently she got like 0 points from the judges. 0 points. And yeah, a whole lot of people are like, you know, that's not breakdancing. That's, you know, that doesn't represent us at all. But maybe she should sign up for the Paralympics. We got breakdancing in the Paralympics? That would be weird. If it was breakdancing in the Paralympics. But yeah, so Reagan, breakdancing will not be in the next Olympics. Apparently, the host nation gets to pick like some extra events that are usually not Olympic events. They can say, oh, we want this and this. So I guess Paris was like, put breakdancing in for some reason. Not really sure about that, but I do know that the LA Olympics in 2028 are going to have, they've added squash, something else, I can't remember, something like squash. But anyways, and baseball's coming back, which I think is stupid, because why would you hold baseball at the Olympics right in the middle of baseball season? So that's going to be kind of weird. And once again, I am one of those people that believe that there are certain sports that should not be golf, tennis, baseball, because they have their own thing, right? I mean, basketball's in there because it's been there forever. I think it's actually was in there before there was an NBA. I'm not sure about that. I'll look into that and maybe next week tell y'all what I found out. Or you can Google it yourself. But yeah, baseball at the Olympics this next time is like, man, it's not, I'm not going to watch it. The other thing is the 3-on-3 basketball team that won the gold medal from the Netherlands. They won the 3-on-3 basketball team from the Netherlands that won the gold medal. Was invited to come over to the United States and play in, I don't know if you all know this, there's this league called the Big Three that's run by that rapper Ice Cube. And apparently we did not send our best three-man basketball teams over there. We sent like the JV team, I guess, the JV. So he invited the Netherlands to come over and play and give them a whole lot of money and everything. But there's always a but. FIBA, who runs the 3-on-3 basketball leagues in Europe, said they couldn't come over here and play because they had not given enough time, notice. They're supposed to give like 3 weeks and they only give like 10 days. So they said, no, you can't go over there and play, sorry, because you didn't give enough notice according to our bylaws. So I'm thinking, well, what if the players said, screw you, we're going to go over and play anyways? I mean, what, FIBA is going to stop them, sue them, kick them out of the league? Because I don't think that would go over very well with all of the other 3-on-3 teams in basketball teams in Europe. They'd probably be like, well, we're not going to play. The big boycott. I can see a big boycott. But anyways, so apparently Ice Cube has basically just says, fine, we'll give you the 3 weeks. Fine, we'll give you the 3 weeks, so then you can't say no. So we'll see what happens with that, but I thought it was kind of interesting that 3x3 basketball all of a sudden has this big scandal, because I just thought 3-on-3 basketball was one of those, like, like a YMCA event or something, but apparently it's a big thing in Europe. Big thing. So hopefully they'll come over here and they'll play our best 3-on-3 players, and they'll be like, they'll probably get smoked, but whatever. Different game. But yeah, so those are the things, the Olympics. Those are the things in the... Why do I keep on saying that? But yeah, so... Olympics. Now it's on to football. Alright, so football's here. Preseason. So the games don't really matter other than people trying to make teams, because most of the teams don't play their starters in the first couple of games. Then they kind of like, here and there, a little bit more and more. There were a few teams though that had their starting quarterbacks playing like first game 1. So I guess it all depends on the team's philosophy or whatever. But for the most part, you're not going to see a whole lot of starters playing in preseason. Yeah, you're going to watch it because it's football. And I like to watch the preseason because I like to see how the backup quarterbacks do. How are they doing? Are they like okay, just in case? Because last year, I think was a year that all time were the most backup quarterbacks played because of the injuries to starting quarterbacks. Last year they had the most second stringers. So you want to see, okay, how's this guy doing for this team? How's this guy doing for this team? How's this guy doing for my team? Preseason football is here. I believe we only have like 11 days till 11 days till college starts, and 20 days till real NFL games start. So coming up fast. One of the interesting developments about all of this is the NFL is allowing players to wear the Guardian caps during actual games. For those of you who don't know what the Guardian cap is, it's that big puffy thing that the players, mostly for offense, well, I don't think all players wear them, but a lot of them do. But anyways, the big puffy things they wear over their helmets during a training camp, so it protects them from concussions and head trauma and yada yada, whatever type of thing. But now they're saying, yeah, you can wear those big cushiony pad things over your real helmet in regular games. And then they put, so then they put, I saw the one, I think it was Indianapolis Colts players. But they put this like, I don't know what material it's made out of. It's canvas or cloth, cotton, or I don't know what it is. But anyways, but they put this cloth over the Guardian helmet, so it makes it look like with the logo, the team logo on it, like the helmet logo. So it looks like it's just a big helmet, I guess. But it looks really weird because it's like all, like somebody said it looked kind of like a pillowcase. Like someone put a pillowcase over their head with the logo on it, and like, yeah, it kind of does look like that. So what happens if that thing falls off while you're playing, or I don't know how it's attached or whatever, but it looks kind of weird. But anyways, the fact is that the NFL is letting, they're saying, yeah, you can wear these on the field of play during the regular season. So that's a big development. Don't know how many players will wear it, because I've heard from some players they're like, there's no frickin' way I'm wearing that thing, whatever. But I don't know, after a while maybe it might gain traction. There's also talk that it's going to lead to helmet developers creating actual helmets that kind of have that built-in Guardian thing to it or whatever, so it doesn't look so weird and funky. I don't remember if any of you remember back in the day, there was a player on the 49ers who had a oversized helmet. I don't remember his name, but they called him Kazoo. Because if you ever watched the old Flintstones cartoon, and you had the alien, that all of a sudden the alien came down, the great Kazoo or Grand Kazoo or whatever, and he had a big, huge helmet on, his big, huge brain or whatever. So they started calling him the Great Grand Kazoo because he had this helmet, this funky-looking helmet on. So, but I never saw, I don't remember seeing anybody else wearing that particular helmet. But we'll see what happens with the Guardian caps. But yeah, it's a new development in football technology, so we'll see. Also, watching the new kickoff rule. I mean, most of the time, no players, like, I think the longest carry back for the longest return was like at 31 yards or something like that. But then this one dude broke one for a touchdown. He was juking and jiving all over the place, man. He was like, and so it can happen. It can happen that you can have a touchdown return on these new-fangled kickoff rules. It can happen. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of coaches were not putting in their schemes just quite yet in preseason because they want to save them for the regular season. You'll probably see a lot of new formations where you have staggered formations on the offensive side on the kick return team. You'll probably have people running, X routes or whatever, all kinds of stuff going on. You might even have a linebacker back there just running and blocking or whatever. I don't know. You'll see all kinds of weird stuff, but it was okay. All right, here we go. New kickoff rules. See what happens with that. So, Jim Harbaugh, the coach of the LA Chargers, is going to be the honorary captain, captain, when the Michigan Wolverines play Fresno State on their opening game. I mean, this is pretty much an in-your-face moment, right? I mean, because with all the sanctions and inquiry and shit going on right now with the team, as far as that whole cheating scandal, that one guy that was like stealing signs from the other team, and then all of a sudden he was like, giving them to, and Jim Harbaugh says, well, I didn't know nothing about it, and people are going, dude, you're the head coach, somebody's got to be telling you something, whatever, he said, she said. Regardless, he can't be fined. He can't be getting in trouble from the NCAA anymore, so it's like basically, so they're basically saying, hey, Jim, come on back, man, come on back, and we're going to like, in your face, NCAA, we're going to have you go and be an honorary coach or captain for this game. That's one of those, yeah, what do you call it? Petty movements? Petty moments? Yeah. In your face, haha. That was pretty funny. I don't really like to talk about the Dallas Cowboys because everybody does it all the frickin' time. All the oh God, Dak Prescott, his contract, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? Who's holding out? Jerry Jones, this. It's like, first of all, I used to hate the Dallas Cowboys. Only because they were my beloved 49ers' big rival, like 70s, 80s, 90s, for the longest time. They've been pretty shitty, well, not shitty, but not living up to the hype for the last, I don't know what, 25 years, whatever. But anyways, yeah, I don't like talking about them, but something popped up the other day. I mean, are they America's team? I mean, that's what they hyped themselves up to be for a long time, was America's team. But I don't know. I mean, why aren't the New England Patriots America's team? I mean, hello, red, white, and blue. Well, silver, blue, red, whatever. Had that, New England Patriots. Had that. They used to be called the Boston Patriots. Had that. The picture of that Minuteman hiking the ball on the side of their helmet for like the longest time. Yeah, why aren't they America's? Anyways, $10.3 billion worth. Man knows business, I guess. I mean, people still buy into this team like it's like a freaking every year. They expect to win. They expect to win the Super Bowl every year. They haven't even been to an NFC Championship game in what, 25, 30, how many years is that? Yeah. But so I looked at their schedule start off this year, and I could see them being like 2-8 the first 10 games. Because I looked at the teams they're playing, it's like loss, okay, maybe a win, maybe a loss, maybe a win, we don't know. I go down the list, and it's like, yeah, they're, which would be really funny and awesome, because then what does Jerry Jones do? He's going to fire Mike McCarthy in the middle of the season? We'll see. that'll be an interesting thing to keep your eye on. But that's the only reason I'm talking about the Cowboys, is because I would love to see them go 2-8 out of the gate. It'd be awesome. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. They're not going to win anything anyway, so whatever. All right, so let's get into my shorts. One of my favorite shows on TV is the Great Food Truck Race. This latest season had them showing up in Mobile, Alabama, which apparently is the birthplace of Mardi Gras, like 1703. So they show them going there, and they show the Mardi Gras, and they show the parade, and I'm like, yeah, y'all didn't do a good job of keeping up Mardi Gras, because it's like, I've seen better floats at the high school homecoming. I mean, it's like, what is that? You know, nobody's showing their boobs. Nobody. I mean, they got the bees, but it's like, you know, what's? I mean, it was lame. It was freaking lame. So, Mobile, Alabama Mardi Gras. Yeah, save your money for the real thing. Preseason college football rankings came out this last week, and the usual suspects are there. You got the Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, you know, Alabama, yada yada yada. One thing that was interesting was that the Washington Husky football team was not in the top 25, which is kind of interesting because they were in the championship game last year. So how do they go from being in the championship game, falling all the way out past 25? Especially since I guess their coach is like Bill Belichick's son. And because of that, I guess Bill Belichick has been hanging around the campus, like giving his 2 cents worth. Pete Carroll, ex-Seattle Seahawks coach, has been hanging around the campus and the team also. Mike Lombardi, ex-general manager of the Browns, I believe it was, used to be scout for the 49ers, has a couple Super Bowl rings. These are heavy hitter kind of guys, are hanging around the Washington Husky football team. So, I mean, just that alone, you gotta go, well, they've got to be in the top 25. And they can do that. There's no rules that say they can't hang around if they don't want. If they want to, they can hang around and whisper in the ear and you might want to do this over here, type of thing. Dad. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how far they rise up the ranks during the course of the season. But yeah, I mean, or maybe not. Maybe they'll stink. It just seems to me that maybe people know more than I do. I don't know. But that just seems to me like, well, that's a long ways to fall, especially when you have like 2 ex-NFL head coaches plus a general manager all hanging around the team. And you know if they're hanging around the team, they're talking. So, yeah, we'll see. Came up the other day, Shohei Ohtani now has 35 home runs and 35 stolen bases. So he joins some kind of club or whatever, did that. Once again, I don't want to hear nothing about stolen base records or anything now. Nothing. There's a cutoff point, especially since now the bases are bigger, the distance between them is smaller, and you can't attempt a pickoff more than twice. So I don't want to hear nothing about stolen base records anymore. Anybody that brings up stolen base, oh well, he's got. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Oh yeah, so well now we're on to also Little League. Little League's on right now. finally get to get into it. The whole World Series is happening. I'm one of those kind of people that I turn it on. I like watching that. I like watching the Little League World Series. So yeah, but it's on now. So go whatever team from the USA ends up becoming the USA representative. Alright, so that's our show for the night. Once again, WWE is not a sport, and Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame. Peace out.